This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of a million.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
Great line from Dumb or Dumber, and I used that with my wife. I won 1 out of a million. I got it 25 years ago, and I've never looked back. Every day happier than the day before. I am Gary Sutton, and welcome to our Friday morning edition of the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. Mark McKenzie with you, and we are ready to fire away this morning. Oh, are we still allowed to say fire away? Yes. All here on the 27th of February, our last working day of February 2026. You know, Mark, we'll never have this day again.
You know, we don't work a lot of days at the end of months.
No. It's kind of sad, a little melancholy today.
December 31st?
Sure.
We usually don't work it.
No.
Yeah. So, and then the last day of, sometimes Memorial Day.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway.
But this is the last February 27th of 2026 that we'll ever
Happy
have
birthday,
together.
my brother.
There you go. Happy birthday to whoever has a birthday out there today. And you know who you are. I am Gary Sutton. We're a little punchy here this morning on a Friday morning. We got a lot going on. Everywhere you look, sports, news, you name it, it's crazy. But all brought to you by Ian Stein and Sparler, attorneys at law. 117 East Market Street right here in New York. And they are ready to help you today. All you have to do is give them a call at 717-846-8811. We have something in common with Ian Stein and Sparler other than the fact that they're our presenting sponsor. And we both serve Main Street, York, and York County. No matter where your Main Street is in York County or even off Main Street, Ian Stein and Sparler is ready to help you, and they've been doing that for well over 87 years. They're going to keep on doing it for a long time to come. They're, as we said, right there, 117 East Market Street, New York. Give them a call at 717-846-8811. They're open Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5, and please tell Gary Sutton proudly sent you. And our other presenting sponsor is Kindness Worldwide. You know, inspired by an act of kindness right here in York County. Its story is proof that no act of kindness is too small to make a difference and change a life, and that anyone can make a lasting impact with the smallest of kindnesses and even change the world. Why not you? Why not us? Why not now? Check out Kindness. It's free, and it's the world's greatest superpower, and you can check it out at kindnessworldwide.org. And, of course, our 833-478-4729, our text line is our Back 9 text line, 259A Pauline Drive, right out there in the South York Plaza. The Back 9 is golf's newest destination right here in York County, frankly. I was trying to get a tee time for today and tomorrow, and it's tough, Mark. It's tough. Everybody is out there playing golf and play some of the great courses of all time indoor. It's got the latest technology, the TGL stuff you see on ESPN. And you can check it out at Kindness. I'm still on the Kindness kick. The Back 9.com/York-PA. theback9.com/York-PA. And you will see all of how you can get involved and get a membership. Yeah, like I did. And I'll tell you, it is swank. It is really nice out there. People are loving it and having a great time. And on the Gary Sutton Show today on Facebook, my question today is, what is your biggest fear? I don't care, not just political or anything, and your biggest fear across the board. What is your biggest fear? I got to think about what mine is. Mine used to be heights, but I'm not sure it's that anymore. I think my biggest fear is, I don't know. I have to think about that one, Mark. Do you have a biggest fear?
Expiration dates.
Expiration dates, okay. Yeah.
Of all kinds.
For guys, you know, we never worried about that before. I mean, we used to have stuff, you look at expiration date, it was kind of like a suggestion. Yeah. You know, it wasn't really anything you're worried about. You just said, 3 years ago, it's probably still good. You know?
I have done that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I know you have.
And I'm not going to do that anymore.
You have regaled us with that.
I think, I'm not going to do that anymore.
When I was, my mother Oh, and God rest her soul now. My mother, when we were cleaning out her house, she had. There was, I think, the Greatest Generation saved everything, and it didn't matter. But they would put an expiration date on it, just so you knew how old it really was if you wanted to eat it. And my mother would save like spices and things like that. Mm-hmm. And you would look, and it was like an expiration date of like 25 years ago.
Yes.
But we might use it someday. That kind of thing. And,
well, did you open it and smell it, see if it was still good?
I did, and it didn't smell that bad.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, I used my college intuition that I used to have in college.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I know. It was bad. It's a bad time.
Oh,
when the only thing in my refrigerator were like a jar of pickles and some cheese that used to be
like asking Happy Gilmore, what do you think of this?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it was not good. But no, but you smell those things, and it's pretty incredible. They smelled okay.
Yeah.
Or like milk expiration date, I get a little antsy about, and meat expiration dates, I get antsy about. I don't mess with those. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I would just you wanted an answer, so I just
and it was a good and frankly, it was a good, solid, rock bottom, foundational answer.
I'm not getting on a roller coaster,
right.
But I mean, does that qualify?
It qualifies, yeah. I mean, that's a fear. It's a fear. I like roller coasters, but I don't get on many anymore. But heights was always my big thing. And I don't mind like a roller coaster, but I hate a Ferris wheel. I mean, I get on a Ferris wheel where you have to sit for a little bit up really high and you're not doing anything. But if you're rolling past, if you're coming down the hill, you're coming home one way or the other. Okay. And I don't mind that. If it's real fast, good experience, I'm screaming the whole time. And, my thumb's in my mouth. I'm in the fetal position. But other than that, it's all good. Yeah.
So, well, I can't say that I have a fear like that.
You don't have a fear
of a larger, of a larger.
Now, yours more complex.
They're stupid.
Life,
like fear, like fear of another Kevin Costner movie.
Okay.
Things like that.
Fear that Taylor Sheridan is now getting ready to put a new series together.
My God.
He must. The one day you made me laugh so hard. One day we're sitting one day and there was the 1887 came out that Taylor Sheridan was doing, and Mark said, "Taylor Sheridan must be stopped." It sounded so desperate.
And now it's coming up here. It's like the U.S. Marshals thing. And I'm like,
exactly.
So your Marshal guy is on another series committed all kinds of murders.
Right.
I mean,
and now he's a marshal.
And now he's law and order. Yeah. It just And if
you're applying too much good common sense and some morals to it.
And that he has been on the show. Do you remember the? I think Taylor Sheridan was this guy. He cast himself.
Yes.
And he was the guy who was, if you remember in Yellowstone, they had taken horses somewhere, or
he was the guy that owned the ranch.
Oh, is that what it was?
He's a real good horseman. By the way.
Yes, he was, and that's what they showed a lot of in that episode. Was him riding the horse and making it do tricks and things like that. I'm like, that's the guy.
Was that the day you said Taylor Sheridan must be stopped? He
must be. Anyway, moving along.
I had visions of Mark going over the edge. He'd taken too much.
It's. The thing is that he had a hit with Yellowstone.
Right.
So naturally, the next thing they wanted him to do
prequel.
is write about 5 other different shows.
And then like 30 years after the prequel.
Yes.
And Yellowstone 2 without Kevin Costner. And then Marshall.
3 or 4 of those. Oh my God. Yes.
Okay.
All right, moving along. Today is Today is National Retro Day.
Okay.
Now it's not an old,
which for us is every day.
Kind of. Yeah, yes, we do pay a lot of attention to what happened in the past.
Well, we just do what we normally do, and that's kind of.
Well, retro. I think it's good for perspective. I mean, I think one of the things that you don't think about history class, when you're 35 and you got a job and you got a family. And
I thought about it a lot because it was my job.
Well, that was your job, but right. I mean, most people, don't pay a lot of attention to it.
Sure.
And I think that
and should
they should, right? It gives you perspective on, they'll always say the things that I hear. So it's never been this bad. It's never been this bad. I'm like, it has been way worse. We had a civil war.
Right.
I mean, tens of thousands of people died. It's been worse, a lot worse. So, but if you don't have that kind of perspective to put it into perspective, I think you're missing it. So Retro Day, although is a more lighthearted look at it. So what you're supposed to do today, the purpose is to invite everybody to step back from modern technology and reconnect with a simpler time. Okay? So they suggest these are ways that you could celebrate Retro Day.
Go ahead.
Wear bell bottoms.
That would definitely be celebrating Retro Day, yes.
What do you think? Leather jackets, poodle skirts? Nah, maybe not.
No, not that far.
Listen to classic music.
Okay, well, we do that.
We do.
You do that, and that's kind of a retro part of our program, and people seem to like that.
Yes. Watch retro music and movie and TV shows. Sorry.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I like that. Play retro video games. Dust off the old Xbox or NES.
Good, yeah.
I
don't play video games.
Vintage.
Nor, by the way, do I play board games.
My son.
Have I ever mentioned that?
My son has done a really good job of trying to. I don't play a lot of video games anymore, and but I played two way in the past, and he found them and got them to me. And it's not as easy to get these things to work these days. And he did, and they kind of get hitched up, and then I get frustrated. So I haven't played them.
Do you do what I do?
I did try. No,
all my board
I don't
games,
do that.
All my board games are frisbees.
No,
Look, a new frisbee.
You could host a retro party. Also try.
I like that.
Vintage recipes. Just some of the things you could do on this National Retro Day. It is also No Brainer Day.
Okay.
I don't know more about that.
I don't know either.
It is Pokemon Day.
Is no brainer like something that's like obvious?
Yes.
Just a no brainer.
Yes. Pokemon Day, very popular.
What are you supposed to do with that?
You know, with the Pokemon cards and the collectibles. It's huge. No. Well, we had Trading Card Day the other day. So,
9 days until daylight savings time. 13 or 19 days or 18 days rather now until St. Patrick's Day. I'll get it right eventually.
I did see.
Wearing the green.
I did see. I don't know that I've ever seen another one, but yesterday in my travels, somebody had this. You know how they have the blow up Santas and Halloween stuff, the big blow up things. Well, this one was up on the roof of their porch. And it was a leprechaun and a little pot of gold.
Really?
And it said, Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I thought, you know what? I mean,
did you stop and knock and
I did not.
Do your Irish thing?
Boy, did I want to.
Oh, my gosh. Knock at the door.
Food holidays today. National Protein Day.
Okay.
Big believer in protein.
Me too.
It should be one of your primaries. It's Big Breakfast Day.
Big breakfast day.
What's a big breakfast for you?
Big breakfast would be pancakes, eggs, turkey bacon, potatoes.
Isn't that like
toast?
Isn't that the what is that? Was it IHOP? Not IHOP. Denny's with a big boy or something.
Oh yeah, they're called the Grand Slams.
That's it.
The Grand Slams. Yeah,
that is a big.
Yeah, they have
breakfast.
some big breakfasts there. Yeah, they do.
And this food holiday doesn't make any sense. This I don't even know. In February, that's ridiculous.
Like
It's ridiculous.
Go ahead.
And you would never even guess this in a million years. National Strawberry Day.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, where's that from? I mean, if you
that
said
should be in
second
June.
week of June
Yes.
or something like that. But
Exactly.
No,
when
I think
Wimbledon is on.
I
or
think we need
something.
to dismiss that.
All right. Other things that happen on this day, which I think are interesting, giving you, again, perspective on this retro day.
Sure.
1813, the first federal vaccination legislation was enacted. Let me just repeat that year again. 1813.
Was that around the time of polio? And
actually, I think it was smallpox. And maybe even
was that?
before that.
You're right. And then didn't we have a big catastrophe not too long after that?
I don't remember
17 maybe or 18? Because we were using that during COVID. We were saying it was the worst since whenever that whole thing was, the pandemic.
That I don't remember. I guess I need to brush up on it. On this date in 1901, just shows you, we have a lot of rule changes these days. And, back in the old days, we didn't do that. Yeah. 1901, National League Rules Committee decreed that all fouls are to count as strikes, except after 2 strikes.
Right. So what was it before that?
Exactly. It doesn't say. And then 7 years later, on this date in 1908, the sacrifice fly was adopted, check this out, repealed in 1931, and then reinstated in 1954. So some rules, it's like ping pong.
Yeah. By the way, 1980 or 1918, influenza pandemic, the Spanish flu. The most severe pandemic in recent U.S. history before COVID-19, infected roughly 1/3 of the world's population, causing over 675,000 deaths in the United States.
Yeah, the Spanish flu, it's erroneously named because it was named after some of the first famous victims, which I think were the king and queen of Spain, where it actually came from American soldiers from Kentucky, I believe, or Tennessee, somewhere over there. 1959.
That was
you love basketball. When I read this, I couldn't wait to tell you.
Go ahead.
On this date, 1959, Boston Celtic Bob Cousy set an NBA record with 28 assists.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The Celtics beat the Minneapolis Lakers. They scored 173 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know that?
I did. Yeah, and the Lakers had George Mikan. I think
he was like
back then. He was like the big guy. But Bob Cousy was like, he was throwing behind the back passes then, all that kind of stuff. Bob Cousy was unbelievable. But a great ball distributor. Two
more things. On this date, 1974, People magazine began sales, which was we had Time, we had Life, we had Look,
right,
Newsweek, a bunch of things.
People was the weekly thing. Lots of pictures.
Yes, no
lots
doubt.
of pictures.
And finally, on this date in 2018,
we may just go straight to the bottom of the hour.
Was it late? I'm sorry, I didn't look at the clock.
Way late. Yeah,
is it way over?
You're okay.
Oh yeah, I am way over. Holy crap! Barbara Streisand revealed that she had cloned her dog not once, but twice.
Really? I never heard that until now.
Well, now you know. She cloned
and I feel
her
like
dog
a darn better person too.
Twice.
Yeah. We'll take a break. We'll come right back.
Oh, what a game last night.
Oh, and we'll get into all that next on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
And it goes into BA, open for three out top. It's no good, and the Bulldogs have pitched a shutout in the first quarter.
Unbelievable.
Beatty out to Kohler. A three, it's good! And it is 15-2. Pass back to Lasher. Spartans went for a steal. Lasher drives in and scores. They went for the steal. He went for the score. Timeout, Milton Hershey. It's 29-7.
I'm speechless, and I haven't been speechless in 75 years.
Final 2 seconds, and the West York Bulldogs have won the district championship.
Yeah, that was last night, and that's the boys' 5A final.
I'll tell you what, did they wipe out Milton Hershey, who's a really good team, by the way.
And Hershey came back a little bit. I mean, it wasn't as bad as after the first quarter, but DeLone girls, they lost.
They lost last night.
They lost, right. So, I mean,
the Susquehanna Township, I believe.
Yes, 36-29.
36-29.
Now,
had a whole lot of other scores.
Go ahead.
Central Girls won over Mechanicsburg, who's the champions of the Mid-Penn, 48-47 in a thriller there. Red Lion went down to Central Dauphin in a consolation game for third place, 42-37. They were the runners-up in the Mid-Penn. You had, who else going down here very quickly? New Oxford lost to Cocalico 57-54 in a close one. That in the seventh place game. York Suburban boys won for fifth place over Spring Grove 64-48 in an all York County matchup. Susquehanna girls, who have been playing some great basketball, they're 20-7 now, beat Cocalico 36-34 the third place game for girls. And let's see, Eastern York went down 36-30 to Susquehanna in a final for the fifth place game there. So many games being played for placement in the states. And Dallastown lost to Wilson 42-37, and that's the district playoffs in the final for the girls 6A. And so Wilson winning the 6A championship over Dallastown by 5. Dallastown have been the defending champion there.
We have lots of action, though, tonight and tomorrow. This evening, boys 6A final here. It's Central versus Central Dauphin from Governor Mifflin. That's at 6:40.
A rematch of last year's game, and it is going to be a lot of fun tonight. And another interesting game tonight, York High at Red Lion for the third place game. So we have an all York County matchup there. That should be a great game. They just played each other a couple weeks ago. And both of them have an outstanding seasons, both of them outstanding coaches, Steve Schmale and Kerry Glover, and just great teams there. You've got the Ogrechek kid on the side of Red Lion. On the other side, you've got Nasir Barnes. And, of course, Central tonight played against the Mid-Penn champions, Central Dauphin, number 1 and number 2 in the District 3 6A. Central Dauphin number 1, Central number 2.
6:45. Is the coverage start tonight. And don't forget York College, important game tomorrow, and that coverage starts at 2:45 on WOYK.
All of that, man, we are just loaded for bear all weekend long. I'm going to go over with Andy and Daryl tonight in the car, just to watch a game, to watch Central play, and looking forward to that. And again, York College going for another championship tomorrow over at Albright, or over at Hood College. At Hood College.
How exciting!
Yeah, it's just a great weekend here for York area sports, and no matter where you are, you probably got a team playing somewhere in the playoffs right now as you get ready for states, which starts next week. Next, I believe Friday and Saturday, states get underway. So lots going on all here in the York area region. When we come back, Ted Check joins us on the Week in the Press. Hillary Clinton was up doing a 6-hour questioning period yesterday on the Epstein case, and she had some things to say, and there was a picture set out, and that caused a little bit of a controversy as Lauren Boebert set out some picture, which she shouldn't have set out from the hearing, and we'll get into some of that, and maybe a little bit more about some of the things that are happening with the FCC, all here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is right now, 6:30. And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on a Friday morning where it is 6:33. Mark McKenzie here with you. I am Gary Sutton. Who's this coming back? I'm
Debbie Gibson.
Oh, okay.
Only in my dreams. One of those, 1987 was a big year for like Tiffany and Debbie Gibson. Songs you don't hear much anymore. But they were big at the time.
Yeah.
So we want to truly reflect, what was happening then. By the way, we're going to wrap up 87 today. And then on Monday, what are we going to do Monday?
I have no idea.
1980.
Yeah. So lots of things going on here.
That should be fun.
Well, we're joined this morning by Save the Beast author Ted Check, who joins us here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, and Ted also our information officer here in York County. But I wanted to talk a little bit about we haven't talked much about the Epstein case. We do have the Clintons, former First Lady and Senator of New York. Hillary Clinton was testified yesterday before a House Oversight Committee, and then we have President Bill Clinton testified today. Yesterday, Hillary Clinton testified for close to 7 hours. It's kind of incredible when you think about it. But with us this morning is Ted Check to take a look back on that. And a picture that was set out yesterday, it caused a little bit of a furor as well. Good morning, Ted. How are you?
Gary, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing really well. But this Clinton deposition yesterday was given up there at Chappaqua by Hillary Clinton. And, of course, her husband testified today. A little bit of a bombshell there when Representative Lord Boebert, I guess, sparked kind of a firestorm. She snapped an authorized picture of Hillary Clinton during the middle of a deposition before the House Oversight Committee, and then leaked the image to Benny Johnson, who posted it on X. So, talk about that a little bit this morning. What went on there?
Yeah, a lot to unpack. So, right, Lauren Boebert snapped the photo. Now, we got to remember that originally Hillary Clinton wanted the whole thing televised.
Right.
So it's kind of weird that her lawyers would then go ballistic for one photo. Although, in fairness, it's kind of an unflattering photo.
Right.
And kind of out of her control. And I think traditionally or typically, Hillary Clinton likes to be in control of things. And so this was out of her control, and it got into the hands of a conservative talk show host, kind of along the vein of Rush Limbaugh, Benny Johnson. So her lawyers went ballistic, and they stopped the hearing for a little while, but then they, came to their senses, and things got rolling again. And I have to. The other thing is, I got to give credit to the media. They were tough with her afterwards. Hillary had a little press conference afterwards. And they were tough with her. They said, hey, well, how come Ghislaine Maxwell, that's Epstein's, I don't know what you call her, right-hand woman, madam, whatever.
Procurer,
partner in crime. How come she was at your daughter's wedding?
Mm-hmm.
Then they also asked her about, these compromising photos of her husband, Bill Clinton. And she had something about, well, the chronology was off. Their relationship was before any of the allegations. I mean, that kind of doesn't really answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
The allegations surfacing, I mean, there's a lot that could have gone on before the allegations surfaced. I got to give credit to the media for that.
I was looking at the whole thing on the Boebert picture, just, the first thing we talked about. And it's against chamber rules to send those things out. According to what the rules were laid out by the head of the House Oversight Committee in the beginning. So, she may have wanted a public hearing on this, Hillary Clinton, and she even said so afterward again, by the way. But the fact that this representative, Lord Boebert, no stranger to controversy, sends out this picture. Why do you do that? I mean, again, I don't care if it's right on left, left on right, or whatever. It's idiotic to do that kind of stuff, and why you would incur that kind of, unfairness in a situation where everybody's looking for someone to be unfair is beyond my thought process.
No, I agree. It wasn't right for her to do that. It was against it. She violated the rules. So, and the other interesting thing was that afterwards, and she took a lot of heat for that,
Right.
and rightfully so. But she fired back on X with, she said, no U.S. ambassadors were harmed in the taking of today's photo. Now, that is a reference to U.S. Ambassador Christopher Stevens, who was assassinated in Benghazi by Islamic terrorists back in 2012. And if you recall, Hillary was Secretary of State at that time. So she took the blame for that, or a lot of people blamed her for that, because they knew this attack was going on, and yet Hillary didn't do anything. So a lot of people say, she didn't. In real time, she could have sent help, because the consulate was under attack. There's a whole movie about it, 13 hours.
Yep, I saw the movie. Yeah.
Great movie. But an unfortunate movie. And so that's the criticism of Hillary Clinton, is she didn't do anything about this attack on the consulate. But the whole thing, the bottom line is, for me, it's a bunch of shenanigans. It's a bunch of tomfoolery, if you will. These are the people that are supposed to be, Boebert and everybody else supposed to be leading our country.
Exactly.
And this is like schoolyard stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I did see something this week that I wanted to ask you about, and maybe you didn't come across. I know Brendan Carr, who is the chairman of the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, defended his leadership of the agency during an interview as he claimed the mainstream news industry was, and this kind of goes right to the heart of your book, quote, drastically out of touch with where the American people are, unquote. And Carr spoke at Semaphor's Restoring Trust in Media, Saving the Beast, by the way, summit on Wednesday, a media conference focused on how news executives and personalities are navigating an industry battling abysmal trust levels. Other speakers, they had other speakers on there, I won't even mention those. It says, during the interview, Semaphore editor-in-chief Ben Smith brought up criticism from former President Ronald Reagan's FCC chairman Mark Fowler that Carr was making use of the agency's public interest rules as a made-to-order jawboning instrument against media companies. And he said, this isn't Ronald Reagan's FCC. I think that's a good thing, Carr shot back. Carr spent much of his roughly 20-minute interview attacking media outlets using an over 2-minute riff to criticize publications like the Washington Post and Time magazine, to broadcast news organizations like ABC News, to independent journalists such as Jim Acosta, and Don Lemon for what he claimed was dishonest reporting. So here, it's out there. I mean, you wrote a book about it, but here are people talking about it right there at the FCC.
Yeah, no, it persists. I mean, look at the numbers. The last poll that was taken. The trust in the media with the American public is in the toilet. And I was just thinking about this yesterday. Now we have people like, and we've talked about this before, the rise of the independent journalists. Got guys like Brian Enton, who's covering the Nancy Guthrie case and doing a fantastic job of that. He's an independent guy. Yeah, he does work for News Nation, but he does a lot of stuff independently.
Right.
So he's out there in the field, and then his content is then used, mentioned, recognized by independent, anchors, if you will, like Megyn Kelly. Mm-hmm. So she's kind of the version of Fox News, CNN, or whoever. She's back at the office, sitting behind the desk, using as an independent anchor, using independent operatives or reporters like Brian Enton. So it's kind of, we're seeing it, man. This is what I was talking about with this paradigm shift.
Right. I was looking here. The Zadio founder, Mehdi Hassans, gave a couple quotes about this. He said, part of the way, this is so simple as to be too simple. Part of the way I think restoring trust is going to work is for journalists to be honest with the American people. Well, duh. What do you think? Yeah. And then she said about, was commenting on the transparency about his political opinions on President Donald Trump. Quote, when he tells you that you can factor that in, you can read it, he said. I think that's much, much better than what journalists have been doing for decades, which is pissing on your leg and telling you they're weathermen, quote unquote. It's kind of interesting that, they're saying, well, media is not really covering the news. They're telling you what to believe with the news from that opinion journalistic standpoint. and that we need to get back to the idea of just tell the truth. That's all you got to do, and let people make up their own minds, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I just uncovered another thing that I didn't know about. It's what is it called here? Reported fiction. This is crazy.
What is it?
Reported fiction. This was an article that was written by a reporter.
Okay.
But it was an amalgamation of some conversations that she had. But the way that you read it, it sounded like it was about a real family and a real person.
Wow.
And that's the way that it was presented.
Reported fiction
to their readers.
Wow. What does that sound like? An oxymoron? Reported fiction, huh?
Reported fiction. It's a new thing. I'm about ready to write an essay about it for LinkedIn.
There you go.
It's an abomination, if you ask me.
Well, there are people that twist and turn and do semantic gymnastics to get around having to do what their job is, which is simply report the facts. Simply report what went on and let people make up their minds. And I think that's the fact that we don't trust that people can make up their own minds just given the straight facts is dumb. I don't know. I don't understand why people can't get back to that. But I think we've done it for so long now. This opinion journalism. Where did it start? Or have we always just had it around? It just seems to be a lot more frequent now.
Well, you got to read my book, Gary, and you have. I know
did.
You have. Everybody else has to read my book. No, but I trace it. It's been a long time coming. It's developed over decades. And now we see it's ingrained in colleges and universities. This is the way they're teaching it now. And that's just, it's not true journalism, as I say in the book.
I offer, and maybe you disagree with me, I don't know. I was watching All the President's Men the other night with Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman, and it was about Woodward and Bernstein's coverage of Watergate and how they went through and double-sourced and triple-sourced, and then Ben Bradley would say, that's not enough, I need more. And I thought that was reporting at its very, very best. But I worry that people took from that the wrong message. The message should have been, hey, hard work, checking out the details, making sure you got it right before you write it, because you're talking about the President of the United States and people around him, was the way to go. And I thought people maybe took out of that the idea that, well, I can become famous if I go out there and I find something like this. And then they started to do like self-fulfilling prophecy kind of reporting where they said, okay, here's what I want to have happen at the end, and let me fill in stuff beneath that to make it work. I don't know. That's just a theory I have. Your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think there was, and I talk about this in the book, I think there was a lot of pressure on reporters. I mean, that Woodward and Bernstein started a kind of a revolution, if you will, in journalism, really brought the profession, really elevated the profession.
Right.
But then there was a lot of pressure. If you're a young reporter and you get a great job with a huge newspaper, there's a lot of pressure put on you.
Right.
To produce Pulitzer level reporting. So that was part of the problem too. I think reporters who maybe didn't have enough experience for one reason or another were put in positions that they couldn't deal with.
What was amazing about that story was it was a throwaway story at the beginning that Woodward had to go down and cover this arrest that was done at the Watergate Hotel. Then it just turns into this unbelievable story that has tentacles everywhere, and to the point that their lives supposedly were in danger as they were reporting this stuff. So, and then we heard about Deep Throat and all those kind of things and the secret stuff that he was sending them, and it was nuts. But anyway, great stuff this morning, Ted. As always, I hope people will read Saving the Beast. They can find that at Amazon. Ted Czech, Czech. The writer of that, and of course, Ted, also the information director here in York County. Always a pleasure having you on Friday, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gary.
Have a great rest of the week and a great weekend, okay?
You too.
Ted Czech here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Interesting stuff, and, that reporting. We're going to watch President Clinton today goes before the committee. The one thing I don't agree with a whole lot of anything that Hillary Clinton normally says, because she's like so many politicians. She said so many things that just fly in the face of truth. However, she did say one thing yesterday, and I think this is only fair. President Trump's picture has been in there with Jeffrey Epstein, too. And if you're going to bring former presidents and first ladies up there before the committee, then I think you probably ought to bring the president up there as well. As distasteful as that is, and we don't like to look at those kind of things, but you know what? President Trump has had pictures and all that kind of stuff with Epstein. You know, get the whole picture. You know, I'm in favor of doing it fairly and getting it all out there. And so whoever is involved, you ought to have them up there for hearings and, you know, those things as well. Just my thoughts. Like I said, it might be the one thing I've heard her say that I actually agree with her on. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll come back with more here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong.
Might be one of the great voices of a generation.
His voice matched with that song perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, certain songs, they just...
It just makes the hair stand on the back of your neck. Josh Groban.
The quiet moments in the song, the big high notes. Anyway.
He has done some wonderful, wonderful work over the years. And remember when they had the war in Iraq going on, and he did a version of a song where he had letters being read or a Merry Christmas from people overseas. It was a tearjerker. I mean,
Here it comes.
Really good.
Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
And what a voice.
Josh Groban, 45 years old today.
Still a young man. Goodness gracious.
Chelsea Clinton is 46.
She is not being called before a committee today. So.
Yeah, really.
There you go. The only member of the family not being called before a committee over Thursday and Friday.
Hall of Fame tight end. Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Is 50 years old
Played
today.
for the Patriots, didn't he?
Nope. Tony.
Or was it Kansas City?
Kansas City, and I think he might have played at the very end with Atlanta. I think.
Great tight end, by the way.
If you have ever heard, well, I know you've heard Journey's "Don't Stop Believin'" and the guitar
way
solo.
Way too often.
Yeah, well, Neil Schon, who is the lead guitarist for Journey, he is 72 today.
Right.
We have two real oldsters, though.
Go ahead.
Ralph Nader.
Yes, who ran for president about 1 million times.
He's still alive. He's 92 today.
Yeah.
And this woman...
Well, he spent his whole life warning people about things that were hazardous to their health.
Yes.
And now he's, there's only one thing he worries about now, which is birthdays.
I think there's there are only a few people that are still active media-wise. Like I saw a commercial yesterday. Let me check the time so I don't go rolling.
We're good.
On.
No, we're good. I'm going to slap you down this time if it happens.
I saw a commercial yesterday.
Right.
If you can believe it was a commercial for the Hyundai Tucson, I believe. That's like a mini SUV or an SUV.
Right.
And the person, there were two people in the ad, and one of them was Dick Van Dyke.
Wow. He's
Yes,
like 100 now, right?
Right. And I don't know who the other person was. I didn't catch that part of it. And they get into this Hyundai and he's like, wow, look at this and look at that. And she's like explaining the car.
Right.
And I'm thinking, isn't that great? You got a 100-year-old guy who's, in this commercial trying to sell this car. Who's the audience for that? 100-year-olds? I don't know.
Got a new car last night. We picked it up and I'm sitting in the car and this guy's explaining all the features of it. I went, oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah. I'm kind of offended that I have to drive it all.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
They have all this stuff, but she loves all this. Yeah, she'll read the owner's manual like it's War and Peace.
Yeah.
She loves that stuff. But go ahead. Yeah.
Ralph Nader, 92.
Yeah.
But he's not really involved. Another guy I saw online too was Dan Deerdorf.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Dan Deerdorf?
He was one of the original guys on Monday Night Football, too. Great football player. But
yes. Yeah. And I saw him in a video like yesterday and, obviously showing his age, but still those facial features that he used to use in discussing the game are still there. So
he was the guy that kind of replaced when you had Dandy Don Meredith, you had Howard
Cosell.
Yeah, Howard Cosell, and you had, who else? Frank Gifford. And then after that, Deerdorf was the next one in line that came in after and replaced them at some point in time.
There was one other birthday, though, to make mention today.
It's actually two.
This one in particular is the wife of Paul Newman.
Yeah,
Joanne Woodward. She's 96 today.
I saw that. She won an Oscar for Three Faces of Eve, one of the weird movies. You know who else's birthday is today?
Who's that?
Elizabeth Taylor.
Really?
Who was the wife for a whole lot of people. And, 1932 to 2011. And she became a very good friend of Michael Jackson's at the end of her life.
She was a beauty.
Yeah, she was a beauty. I just saw I was looking for free movies yesterday. I was page 2. Cleopatra is up that she was in.
Oh, yeah.
And she was gorgeous at Cleopatra
That movie,
with Dick Burton, who was her husband a couple times.
Well, I don't think he was her husband then.
I don't know then, but he played the part of Mark Anthony. They were the love interest of that movie.
Yeah, I don't think that I think that might have been where it all began.
But they were married 2 times.
Yes.
That
movie
8 husbands
was the most expensive made at that time. I think they spent. I think her salary was $1 million, which had been unheard of before.
At that time was just outrageous.
She just had that look, and but hey. Something else is going to happen.
Remember her first movie that she was in when she was a kid at National Velvet about the horse race? Yeah,
she was just a cat on a hot tin roof.
Yes,
good God.
She was very good at that too.
Oh my Lord!
I know. That's
even with the sound down. Something's going to happen. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. So check this out. Look up in the sky tonight.
The planets are lining up and will be visible in a rare sight this coming weekend. According to NASA, this Saturday night, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune will all be visible in the western sky Saturday night. And with the exception of Uranus and Neptune, you won't need a telescope or binoculars. The show will begin at twilight, roughly a half hour after sunset, and provided the weather is good, the clouds are gone, and the light pollution is low, you'll be able to spot spot them from Earth's perspective in a row low on the horizon. Planetary alignments consisting of 4 or 5 are a bit common, but 6 is not often seen. Eben Brown, Fox News.
And by the way, I said today was the last day of February. Obviously, it's not. It's tomorrow.
So they have a view of Uranus tonight, huh? Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, and other planets, too. Other planets, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Sorry.
Yes.
Anyway, coming up next, Mark is going to give his fingers a chance to dance on the telephone pad as we go to the UK, we hope. Alan Williams, who's sitting in today for Kevin Smith, who's the originator of the K20 conference. You've heard Kevin talk about that. It's Kindness conference in May. And also the originator of a game called Values Jam is going to join us here, all about both of those. Next at 7:05 on the Gary Sutton Show, coming up here in just a few minutes because we have news at the top of the hour. And then at 7:35, we bring in Gracia Etienne, Dr. Gracia Etienne, to talk a little bit more about your mental well-being and some things you can do to make that better. And then later on in the show, Jim McClure joins us, and we have Dr. Nick Pandelitis as well, all straight ahead on the Gary Sutton Show. And Dennis Owens, too, don't forget, on WOYK. It is 7 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK, where it is 7:05 on a Friday morning. And we are trying to hook up right now with Alan Williams from the UK. Have you ever tried to call the UK? It is fun. Yeah, it really is. We're trying to get that all hooked up here this morning, and we'll hopefully get that here in the next couple of minutes. But he's sitting in for Kevin Smith today. But our show being brought to you by our presenting sponsors. Oh, yeah. Stein and Sparler Attorneys at Law. They are a law firm which welcomes you from Main Street, York, and York County, wherever you are and whatever Main Street you live on, and whatever street you live on. Yeah, they're ready to help you. You know, we need law representation. We need to get someone that we can trust. Well, you can trust Stein and Sparler. They've been doing this business since 1937. And I'll tell you what, they're right here at 117 East Market Street in York. Primary areas of focus are areas that we all kind of come across at some point in our lifetime: estate planning, family law, estate administration, elder law, municipal law, military law even. I know Andy Harrell practices the military law, particularly. That was his area of expertise. And they're ready to help you right now. 117 East Market Street right here in York. They're open daily, 8:30 to 5 p.m. You can give them a call. And please don't hesitate to tell them I sent you. 717-846-8811. That's 717-846-8811. When Main Street York needs representation, they go to Stein and Sparler, 117 East Market Street in York. You can go to AnnSteinandSparler.com to find out more about them. And, of course, our other presenting sponsor, Kindness Worldwide. Yeah, Kevin Smith had a wallet returned. What a day that was, Good Friday 3 years ago. And since that, he has been struck by the idea of spreading kindness around the world, and he's doing a great job with it. You know, Kindness Worldwide is a global nonprofit that has a vision to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world, whether you're helping out with adopting pets, giving blood, raising money for homeless, getting food for people. It is just a great organization, and Kevin is spreading that not only around York and the area, but around the world. So the question is, kindness is free and the world's greatest superpower. So why not us? Why not you? Why not now? KindnessWorldwide.org. Check it out. Our text line is the Back Nine text line, sponsored by the Back Nine, York's newest golf indoor destination. Right out there, 259A Pauline Drive in the South York Plaza next to Giant. And they are ready to open the doors for you right now to get out there like I do almost daily and play golf with the greatest technology right now, the TGL technology you see on ESPN. Go to the back9golf.com/York-PA and find out more about how you can get a membership to the Back Nine, York's premier golf destination where golf never sleeps, open 24/7. And today, our question at Gary Sutton Show and also at Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube is this: what is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear that you have? That's a big question we have here this morning on the Gary Sutton Show. You can go to Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. We're on all the social media. You can check us out there. I even put up a picture yesterday. Steve Shetter and I had lunch yesterday from testpest.com. And Steve, during lunch, check this out, Mark. During lunch, Steve gives me a picture of termites. He sends me a picture of termites that one of his technicians found at
like
a home yesterday.
Pin up or something?
Yeah, it was a termite pin. It was a double spread. But
yes,
it was gross. Man, I'll tell you what. I have never seen real close-up pictures of termites. And they were like posing with their boy band.
Were they waving?
Ears, Yeah, they were a boy band picture. But no, I thought to myself, ooh, I'd want to know if they're in my home. So I put a little thing out there and a little cartoon of Tim and I, or Steve and I having lunch, but then the picture of the termites and said, hey, by the way, and then I will tell people this, if you think you might have termites around your area, or maybe a free evaluation that Steve has, give him a call at 717-951-3868. And we put that up yesterday. Check that out, the picture of termites. Termites. Yikes.
So I dialed the number.
Yeah.
And, I got an answering machine.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, the country code is 44.
Yes.
So that is the UK. So it is a valid number. But the answering machine, oddly enough, did not have an English accent.
Oh, really?
It wasn't like, cheerio. Oh, sorry. This is the answering machine. And would you please leave a message? Oh, you're so kind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just said, sounded like I was calling Milwaukee.
Well, here, I'll give you this. I'll just hand this to you again. You can take a look. Here's my phone for you.
Oh.
So I have that down again.
I'm sure it's right.
I'm sure it is, too. We're trying to do it the way that Kevin gave it to us. And it's tricky. You're calling another country.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, and so maybe try that one more time and see what happens. But anyway, with all that having been said, we carry on.
I thought you might be interested in common fears.
Well, one other thing here before we get to the fears, this hour being brought to you by Pappy's Q. You want to satisfy your cravings with Pappy's Q. You want to indulge in mouth-watering flavors of their unique barbecue and seafood menu. You can dine in or carry out. It's family-owned, and I'll tell you what, Todd and Amy Howdy-Shell are just... My mouth is getting watery thinking about this. Their passion is great food, and they create a unique dining experience. It's right down there at 35A North George Street, or North Main Street, right there in Jacobus. And they're right behind the Rudders, that little shopette across the street from Smith Village. And whether you choose to dine in or carry out, they guarantee satisfaction with every single bite. And you can reserve a table today, but you can also order online for convenience. They've got a great menu down there, like loaded barbecue fries. French fries topped with brisket, pork, barbecue sauce, queso, lettuce, pico de gallo, ultimate nachos, pork brisket, queso, lettuce, pico, sour cream, and barbecue sauce. They got some of the best soups you're going to have anywhere. Burnt end sandwich. Brisket burnt ends and a bourbon sauce and a steak roll with queso. My goodness. Breaded oyster sandwich. They got soft shell crab sandwich. They got Krabby Mac. They've got crawfish mac. They got lobster mac. All that mac and cheese. Half rack dinner, 2 barbecue meats dinner. You get the idea. The best barbecue that I have had ever. And it's Pappy's Q. Get on down there and check them out today. They're open today. In fact, 4 to 8 tonight. Tomorrow, 10 to 8. You can get in there for breakfast. 10 to 7 on Sunday, 4 to 8 on Monday, and 4 to 8 on Thursday. Closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Give them a call at 717-347-7062 or email them at pappysq, that's Pappy's QUE, at gmail.com and find out what their specials are today. They are knocking it out of the park. WOYK News Time is 7:13. Our fears. We asked the question today, what is your greatest fear? So, Mark, tell me a little more about that.
These are the common fears, the top few, okay? Fear of public speaking is number one.
That's been number one for so long, and obviously not our fear. But, it's amazing when you talk to people and they'll say, yeah, you put me in front of a group of people, man, I clam up.
Well, it's only because...
you haven't done it.
Right. And, if you were to talk about something that you are knowledgeable on...
I'm still trying to find that. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about. Well, if you're not.
Oh, you didn't mean me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be an expert in a particular area, but just know something about it.
Something you're passionate about. Maybe.
On one hand, and on the other hand, be able to talk to people that you don't know.
Right.
So it's various combinations of those two. I actually took a course in public speaking. I don't know that it helped me at all. I think it was just doing it.
Yeah.
Time in, time out. And then you have to be like, you're very good at the offhanded stuff, and that makes people feel comfortable right away. And that took a little bit of time. But fear of public speaking, easily number one.
You know, it's interesting over the years, and we've done what? We're on our way to like 7,000 shows, and you and I have done a bunch of them together. And one of the things that has been interesting to me was when people called in, they would say, I'm not real good at this. I don't know if I have anything to say. And those are the people that normally have the most to say. Those are the people, it may not be as varnished.
Yeah,
but right. And what I often tried to do over the years just to kind of calm people down, because listen, when I was a kid, I was really shy, and I still kind of keep to myself off the air. But I learned over the years to say to people, think about this: we're sitting down over your coffee counter right now, having a cup of coffee, and just chatting about what's going on. And for some reason, that dumb little thing would help people to relax a bit. And they say, don't think about the thousands of people who might be listening to you at this particular point.
You're framing it for them to understand.
So just you and me talking. And so if you trust me a little bit, I'm listening, let's talk, let's have a conversation. And all of a sudden, you might get some of the most beautiful gold nuggets of things that you didn't know about that day just by hearing that person and getting them into an atmosphere where you took away that fear of public speaking. And now it's just, neighbors talking. That's all it was. And that's kind of what we do. We try to anyway. But
now, and the next one is in the same vein. It's a fear of failure.
Oh, yeah.
So even larger than just public speaking.
That's mine.
More things like that.
That's my biggest one. The fear of not doing and not trying to be the best. And, it's crazy.
It's often rooted in perfectionism.
I don't know if I'm a perfectionist, but I'm kind of in that. I'm in that church. I don't know if I'm in that pew yet.
But see, those to me are in the embarrassment vein, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's the failure of like flying a jet, or landing a jet or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't done that one yet. But
next is fear of heights.
That was my number one for a long time. But the fear of failure has overtaken that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown.
That is not a fear that I have particularly because I don't have any control over that. I only fear the things that I have some control over. I think I'm kind of I'm a big Christianity is where I live and I believe I don't have control over a whole lot of anything, that God has control, and I just kind of am along for the ride and doing my part. But, the idea of, I don't worry about the unknown. I know a lot of people do. I know there are people who have phobias about that.
Yes.
But, that's not something I've ever thought about, and yet I have great respect for people that might dwell on that. I just hope that you get off it.
Insecurity.
Yeah, nothing you can do about it. Yeah.
Fear, and this is, it's also a big one, fear of rejection. In social or professional situations.
Do you like me? We okay? No. Yeah, think about it. Yeah, okay, I see where we're at. Yeah. No.
Fear of
I don't
change.
think anybody wants to feel rejected.
No, of course not. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Change, is that the same thing as fear of the unknown? Is that the same thing?
No, I don't think so. I think fear of the unknown is like you're looking around every corner for a disaster, and change is just, I'm used to this. I'm really ingrained in this. This is my habit. You're going to change that? And the one thing we know about, and you and I have learned over the years in our business, is the biggest thing about it is change happens all the time.
All the time.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm doing the show a lot differently than I used to do it in terms of all the things that I have to do. And Mark, our lives change. And so if you're not comfortable with that, then you probably wouldn't want to be in our industry.
Fear of uncertainty is the same thing as fear of the unknown, right? That's the same thing. Uncertainty, unknown.
Well, I think a lot of people have, for example, right now, in our political atmosphere that we have, we don't have a lot of certainty. Okay, we all like the idea of having things kind of have periods at the end of the sentence and not always exclamation points and question marks, and we have a lot of those now.
So the next one, something bad happening.
I know people who, and I knew someone who for a long time their favorite two words were "now what," and that's exactly that point. Now what?
Right.
Yeah, something bad is going to happen. Now what? And see, I'm one who looks around every corner. I'm looking for the Easter Bunny and the chocolate in the basket.
Aww.
I'm one of those guys. I've said before, it's not that I ignore the bad, it's just that I'm not looking for it. but I'm aware of it, but I'm more interested in focusing on what the positive is. So, but there are people who focus around the corner. They can find a cloud in every silver lining. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
All right.
That's not like Corey Thurman there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and let's continue.
And there's a guy, by the way, you talk about positive.
Yes.
He's looking at a good thing around every corner, too.
How about fear of getting hurt?
See, again, that goes back to the idea of I'm trying not to lose instead of I'm trying to win. See, I'm of the I'm trying to win all the time. I'm trying not to lose is a way of losing. A fear of getting hurt. I mean, it makes you way too cautious, I think, Mark. But I think you need to have some of that built in. But I think you're playing not to lose when you fear of getting hurt.
If it truly is stopping you from doing something.
Yeah, the limitation, right. I think, is what we're talking about there. Yeah.
A couple more just real quick.
Go ahead. These are really good.
Being judged.
I used to worry about that a lot, but I don't anymore. I think I'm probably the harshest judge on me of anyone.
You know what it says underneath? It says suppressing authenticity.
Ooh. Well, what a great line.
Yeah, it was like, well, it's not just being judged. I mean, is that what Donald Trump does? You know, he doesn't suppress his.
Does he want you to know the real him?
Right.
Yeah, and you sense that, can you really say you know the real him? I mean, we can't because we just know him from afar, but I'm wondering what he's like. You know, people say he's a great-grandfather and all that kind of stuff. You hear different things that the sons and daughters say.
You would have to be born into his family.
Yeah, to really have it. Because he does not, I think he's very careful not to let you see the real him.
And some of these things are kind of connected, I think. Here's another one that I think is connected to something else. Fear of inadequacy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing as like rejection or
Well, I think that it goes in the same area, yeah.
I have one more.
Go ahead.
Loss of freedom.
Boo. You know what? If I have a second one, if you told me I had to go to jail for a day, that would be like my worst fear. Second only to not doing well. Yeah, I would be. I've thought about that over the years, and I thought about if you ever did a crime, would you want capital punishment or would you want to be in prison the rest of your life? I'd want capital punishment. The idea of being in prison, being my freedom being taken away, I can't even imagine living with that.
Well,
how's that?
Those are the top ones.
Whew.
And
you work me out there.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting to be able to explore some of that.
I love
Up next, we have a Fox Sports update.
And something that Burger King is doing that I think is really good. Speaking of public speaking, Burger King is doing something that tracks their workers' manners. We'll tell you all about that next on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Fox Sports Update.
A record-setting night in the NBA for three-pointers. Con Kneppel of the Charlotte Hornets set an NBA record Thursday for the most three-pointers by a rookie in one season. Kneppel hit 8 threes in the Hornets' 133-108 blowout of the Pacers. He broke the previous mark set by Keegan Murray 3 seasons ago. Murray established a record in 80 games. Kneppel needed only 59 in his rookie season to surpass it. In the 76ers' 124-117 win over the Heat, Philadelphia's Tyrese Maxey became the team's all-time leader in three-pointers. Maxey broke Allen Iverson's record with his 886th career three. He scored 28 points in all last night. 42 for the Pelicans' Sadiq Bey in a 129-118 win over the Jazz. Kevin Durant scored 40 for the Rockets, who came back to beat the Magic 113-108. The San Antonio Spurs win streak now goes to 11. The Spurs beat the Nets in Brooklyn 126-110.
Touch pass, O'Neal. Lets it fly. Boom! Rolls Royce from downtown. Suns win. Suns win. 113-110.
On Arizona's Family 3 TV, Suns withstood 41 points from Luka Doncic, beat the Lakers on Royce O'Neal's three-pointer with under a second to go.
Toronto Maple Leafs and Team USA captain Austin Matthews. Panthers forward and Team USA alternate captain Matthew Tkachuk. Congratulations to our American Olympians on bringing home the gold medal.
On Scripps Sports, Matthew Tkachuk and Austin Matthews took part in a ceremonial puck drop before the Panthers beat the Leafs 5-1. Tkachuk scored a goal. So did his brother Brady in Ottawa's 2-1 overtime loss to Detroit, whose U.S. Olympian Dylan Larkin scored the game winner in overtime. It's Game On with the Fox Sports app, available wherever you download apps. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. I do want to remind you this hour being brought to you by Pappy's Q at 35 North Main Street, right here in Jacobus, Pennsylvania, where they have the best barbecue and seafood you are going to find anywhere. I want you to get down there this weekend and check it out. They're open tonight, 4 to 8. They're right there at 35 North Main Street, 35A North Main Street in Jacobus, right behind the Rudders, in that little shopette right there across from Smith Village. And they are just serving up some of the best food you're ever going to have in your life, from burnt ends to sausage to they have breakfast tomorrow morning, by the way, 10 to 8 tomorrow. They're open 10 to 7 on Sunday, 4 to 8 on Monday. They're off Tuesday and Thursday, then 4 to 8 on Thursday, 4 to 8 on Friday. But Pappy's Q has a little bit of everything. It's going to fit some kind of taste bud, whether it's steamed shrimp and ribs, steamed shrimp and pork, ribs and crab legs, Pappy's platter, sliced brisket, broiled and fried crab cakes, broiled or fried scallops served with 2 sides. I mean, they have it all going on down there right now, and you need to get down there and find out about what it's all about. Pappy's Q, 35 North Main Street, right there in Jacobus, in behind the Rudders there in that shopette. And you can give them a call at 717-347-7062 for takeout, or email them at pappysq, at gmail.com. Again, open tonight, 4 to 8. Check them out tomorrow, 10 to 8. Go in there for breakfast. They have some of the most unique breakfasts you'll ever have at Pappy's Q. Coming up next, Dr. Gracia ATN, as we get into what Burger King is doing and how that ties into manners and also the way we feel. And we'll talk a little bit about our mental well-being with him. All here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. It is 7:30. this song. Yeah. Sounds like lunchtime when I was in college.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Living on a Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some classic lines.
Well known.
You want to sing along?
I don't.
Tell me you used to work on the docks. You didn't been on strike.
Yikes.
No, you didn't like the line?
Yikes. Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on a Friday morning. A little Bon Jovi with a little accompaniment by Mark McKenzie. It's great to have you on.
See, I had no fear. No fear.
No fear of that, obviously. And no fear of failure. No fear of the notes. Not much fear of anything. Anyway, it's great to have you back. We welcome in this morning Dr. Gracia ATN, who is at the York TMS Clinic at 1806 North Dorset Street right here in York. And, one of the things I wanted to talk to Dr. ATN this morning is something that Burger King is testing out. I was reading an article this morning, Dr. ATN, and good morning to you, by the way.
Good morning. Good morning, my friend. Is Mark okay? He was crying.
I was crying. The crying you heard was me. He alleges was singing. I was crying as he was singing. Yes, I did. So it went hand in hand. Yeah, you got that right. But I was reading something interesting today that I just knowing you, I thought you might find this a little bit interesting. It says Burger King tests AI that tracks workers' manners. And it says, if only Burger King listened to the public outcry over Patty's lunch, like it listened to the public outcry over its burger quality, their burger patties, they'd be a lot better off. And what they said is they're using something right now at Burger King. It's an open AI-powered chatbot called Patty that will live in employees' headsets and tattle if it thinks workers aren't being friendly enough, the chain announced on Monday. Or actually yesterday. They said this is all meant to be a coaching tool, their chief digital officer told The Verge magazine. They said the AI is trained to recognize words and phrases like welcome to Burger King, please, and thank you. Nice pleasantries that you would exchange with people. And Patty will then grade a location's friendliness levels based upon a manager's request. And what they're saying is in their headsets, they're going to have reminders of please say thank you, and doing that kind of thing. Because the public outcry is oh my gosh, how can you do this? The public outcry is over their burger quality right now. And the chain said yesterday it would improve its Whopper for the first time in almost a decade after customers complained for years about it falling apart. But I thought this was kind of interesting because, we talk about our mentality, we talk about our wellness, and we do feel better when people at our drive-thrus and so forth are kind of pleasant with us, right? And exchange pleasantries and a please and a thank you. And we're losing some of that in society today, aren't we?
Yes, it is actually a very nice try for Burger King. Mm-hmm. But one thing that people have to remember with AI is that it's programmed, it's intake.
Yes.
I can give you a perfect example on what you're saying. Like when someone from the South says that, oh, bless your soul.
Yes.
You know what they mean. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't bless your soul. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not the same thing how do you account for things like that? The human mind is so complex. It's not there are quite a few things that you cannot automate. That cannot be automated. And the genuineness has to be there. It's better to actually teach people or train, if we can use that, but I think teaching is probably better than training. But teach people how to think, how to think, to teach people how to be nice and the kinds of things that you just start at the level of their spirit and emotion and mental, and it will trickle down to their mouth saying it without them realizing it.
Dr. ATN, I don't go to a lot of drive-ins, but I happen to go through a Taco Bell. And I've noticed this all over, and you talk about training people. Taco Bell teaches their people how to be conversational. And they will say to you, how are you today? Before you even get the order, or something along that line, some salutation. And I've found that to be a very nice thing because all of a sudden I'm in a good mood. And I ordered something the other day. A girl said, "Do you mean this?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I never get that right when I order it." And she said, "Oh, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure I had it right for you because I want to make sure you're happy." And I thought, wow. So the question begs to be answered then from a general standpoint for all of us. How do we help other people's mental wellness to be better in our exchanges with them? How's that?
It is actually a very simple concept, but it's hard to apply. Be genuine.
Wow.
That's all. That's really all you have to do, because we've heard that over and over again. We say it to our kids and to people we've trained, and even saying it to ourselves. You cannot reap something that you didn't sow. So if you really want kindness, show kindness.
Right.
Nothing can. Yeah, that's all you have to do. If you want everyone around you, to actually be loving and so start by yourself, and then it will spread. It is a natural law. There's absolutely no other way it's going to happen. Are you going to find some resistance? Yeah, you're going to find some fields that are a little bit rocky, different. Some of them will be a little bit less cultivable. But eventually, even those rocky soils will be covered with love and flower that you won't even see them, and they will have no reason not to go along. This is a simple, natural. Or sometimes, Gary, honestly, I you can feel the emotion in my voice. I feel frustrated because I think we complicate it way too much. And I say we as a whole, humanity, we complicate it too much. Just follow the simple rules and they're all there. Just do it. And if we do it collectively, we do it in common accord, because that's the part that's harder, because you and I, we can do it. But if Mark is a conniver, if Mark is a manipulator, it's no longer persuasion, it's manipulation.
Right.
So these are the kinds of things that we need to start teaching our kids right from the beginning, make them understand those basic facts, and instead of teaching them how to be big in life. No, that's not the point. You will actually be big, and we will be big in life if we do it together, because we have so many challenges that we need to overcome together. If you do it by yourself, well, okay,
right.
You'll be standing up there. Good luck.
Marcus feeling kind of picked upon today so far, by the way. I just said he's over here crying. But anyway.
He's my friend. He knows I can pick up on
you got it. But, hey, you've done a lot of operations on people over the years with knees and all that kind of stuff before you got into this business with York TMS Clinic. And, when people go to the hospital and they're going to get an operation, obviously they feel a certain kind of consternation and they're worried and they're, you're in unusual surroundings and all that. But, when obviously you were helping them physically, but when you came to see them afterward or beforehand, when you were doing the visits to set up the operation or whatever it might be, or even before you even go in the room, how do you help their mental wellness? I'm sure you were very aware of that. I always sensed that in the 2 times you worked on me, but I went to you for other appointments as well. But I always felt better after I met with you. What did you do? Was it consciously or was it just part of who you were?
Well, honestly, I think again, probably at the beginning, I don't know when that started. It might have been instilled in me. But for now, I think it becomes part of me and who I am. Because when I'm talking to you, whether it's your patient or a client or if I am a customer, so I'm looking at you as a potential business, I don't look at the business. I look at you as a person, the whole you. There has to be a reason why we are here together. And quite honestly, if it's just for me to fix your knee, I'm not saying it's not good, but that's very limited because someone else could do that. Right. So there has to be something particular about us that makes us be together right now to the betterment of this whole thing that we call humanity. And if we approach it like that, and my faith, and I'm going to have to sneak it in there, I've got to allow me to represent him the best that I can before I open each door to say hi to my patient. Because I think we said God is love, and so if I show love, it's going to radiate.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, it really does. And at York TMS Clinic, it was not a hard move for you when you changed careers to move into this area where a lot of people have, maybe not found relief from clinical depression with the antidepressants or with some other kinds of techniques. And your approach is a non-invasive, personalized approach that focuses on helping people feel like yourself again. You're trying to help their mental wellness, and it's done through NeuroStar, which is an FDA-cleared transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, thus the York TMS Clinic. Tell people about that.
York TMS Clinic, before I even go into that, I want to slide something in there. Yesterday, I saw a nice young lady, and she's actually traveling about an hour or so to just come and see us. But she said, I'm going to come here to do it once we go through the process. And I said, well, that's really far. She said, yeah, the TMS clinic that we have closer to us, they're closing. And yeah, honestly, it's because it's not a money thing. It's not a cash cow.
Right.
Financially, it's not a great business model. You have to see it more as part of a mission, and that's where we come in, and that's where we say it at your TMS. And I told her very clearly, listen, I don't want to brag about it, but we have a different model here because we're seeing you. We want to care for you. We have the testimonies. That's what drives us. The numbers. That's really not what makes the difference. Would we want this to sustain and as a business? Yeah, but that's not the primary goal. The primary goal is when you come here, and I see you so nervous, you don't even want to talk. Your head is down and so on, and then 2-3 weeks on the chair, we couldn't get you to stop talking because you just become a chatterbox and you just telling us everything and you're so happy, open the door and laughing with us and leaving. That's what I want, and that's what we do at TMS, using transcranial magnetic stimulation, a simple technique, non-invasive, totally approved by insurance and FDA. Very well tolerated by patients. Right. We feel like we have something that can help patients suffering from depression.
Well,
whether it's I'm sorry.
And I sat in that chair, and Dr. Etienne and I did a video on that, which you can go to Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. Go there right now, Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. See it for yourself. Page on down. You're going to have to go down a little ways, and then you'll see Dr. Etienne standing there. I'm sitting in the chair, and go through. It's about a 20-minute video, and it's really fascinating because he goes into all of what TMS is, but most importantly, stop on by and see them, and see what they have. And I'll tell you what, you will be happy that you did, because when people have depression, you want to help them, whether it's you, whether it's someone else, whether it's a veteran, whether it's an adolescent, whether it's a friend, a relative. You don't want to see people not be happy, not be themselves. You can give them a call at 717-699-7361 or stop on by 1806 North George Street right here in York TMS Clinic, and stop in and get a folder of information and find out about it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever had depression, or people have had, and I have, you want to know everything there is to know to help you feel the way you should feel and be happy and be able to have good wellness in your life mentally. And that's what this is all about. Final thoughts this morning, Dr. Etienne.
Oh, well, I'm going to say thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to be able to share that with the community. We're going to continue to do it. We will do it, and I'm quite sure it is doable. We will get everyone to understand the importance of mental health, the mental wellness.
Well, you couldn't see better people for this. Dr. Etienne, thank you for all you do for the community there. York TMS Clinic, 1806 North George Street here in York. Write this number down, 717-699-7361. You can also find out more about them by going to yorktmsclinic.com, where you can see the whole thing about the NeuroStar machine and everything. You'll see it all right there. Don't forget to go to my Gary Sutton Show on Facebook and see that video that Dr. Etienne and I produced. Just scroll on down and you'll find it down there. Dr. Etienne, great spending time with you here on a Friday morning. Thank you so much, my dear friend.
Thank you, my dear friend.
Have a great time and a good weekend. YorkTMSClinic.com. Check it out today. It is 7:48. back. The Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. You know, winter salt does its job on the roads, but, you know, it can be tough on your car. It really can. I don't know if you ever took a look at what your salt does to your car, especially underneath, but a wash with an underbody rinse helps slow rust before it starts costing you bucks, and we don't want that. It's a simple step that can protect your car for years, and Jack Giambalvo sends that little message to you today. Of course, Jack Giambalvo family of dealerships has had great cars, new and used, or pre-owned here in the area for a long, long time, over 50 years. They started it with Jack Giambalvo years ago, and it's been going on ever since, and John Giambalvo leading the parade toward excellence right now. But right now, if you're looking for your next ride, Jack Giambalvo has it for you. They've got great cars out there right now, from SUVs to trucks to sedans to imports and domestics. If you're looking for a new ride, Jack Giambalvo has it for you today. And all you need to do is go to GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com on the web right now, and you will have a chance to see some of those great cars at their 6 great locations right here in York. And what you get with Giambalvo Pre-Owned, free lifetime PA state inspections for you and anybody in your household, 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty included on most pre-owned vehicles, and their vehicles go through a really, really rigorous inspection and checklist to ensure that they are roadworthy. They've been doing that for 50-plus years. They're going to keep on doing it because that's what Jack Giambalvo aspires to, is excellence. You know, shopping with Giambalvo, fast, hassle-free, pressure-free. Just great cars, great people, and a smooth buying experience from start to finish. I know because I have a car that I bought at Giambalvo a little over a year ago, and I'll tell you what, their people are great. There's no pressure. They ask you questions. They don't tell you things all the time, and you make up your mind based on that kind of attitude. That's the Giambalvo way. All the brands you love, all the choices you need, and they're proudly serving the York and Hanover community for over 50 years with 6 great locations today. These vehicles won't last right now, so start your search today at GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com. That's GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com, or stop it at one of their 6 convenient locations. Jack Giambalvo family of dealerships, move fast and feel the Giambalvo difference today, and tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you.
You know something that's going on, and I just got a little bit of a tip from one of our texters.
Okay.
That airstrikes, this is the Associated Press article out when we came on the air. Airstrikes hit Afghan capital of Kabul hours after Afghanistan attacks Pakistan.
Wow.
Yeah. And Pakistan, of course, has, I believe, nuclear weapons. So
they do.
Yes. So that's definitely something, you know, if there isn't enough going on in the world.
Yeah.
Let's do that. How about something?
I was just, by the way, reading on the AP on that, that the Pakistanis carry out the airstrikes at Kabul and 2 other Afghan provinces early today.
Yeah, Islamabad.
Yeah, they said hours after Afghan launched that cross-border attack on Pakistan, the latest escalation of violence. Like, you can't really pay attention to all the places that violence is going on in this world, as you said, between the neighboring countries that made a Qatar-mediated ceasefire appear increasingly shaky. At least 3 explosions were heard in Kabul, but there was no immediate information on the exact location of the strikes at the Afghan capital or any potential casualties. And a government spokesperson basically came out and said they also carried out airstrikes in Kandahar to the south and the southeastern province of Paktia. So we'll keep our eyes on that today. But thank you again for updating on that this morning in our text line, our Pakistan text line.
Listeners are usually very informed. Yep. So there's another story. This is not nearly as
profound.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. This one has to do with, I don't know if you've ever seen vanity plates.
Yes, I have.
And you see them, and you're trying to figure out what are they saying?
Yeah,
what
which is the whole purpose of them, is to get you thinking.
I mean, some of them are easy,
right?
But not all of them are.
Yeah, like I like beer. Yeah, you know.
Well, yeah, they're using shorthand in a lot of cases. Anyway, so this guy, he got a license plate in New York, and the letters are PB, the number 4, then the letters WE and G and O. So what it's saying is, well, here, let's
Go ahead.
Let's let you. There we go.
Seth Bykowski received a letter from the Department of Motor Vehicles last month telling him his plate violated DMV regulations. The plate, P before we go, stands for going to the bathroom before you leave. But New York Governor Kathy Hochul stepped in to help Seth win his battle this week after he asked her to intervene. The DMV's rules prohibit vanity plates bearing messages that could be construed as derogatory, contemptuous, degrading, disrespectful, or inflammatory. Bykowski argued his plate did not reach that criteria. Hochul agreed, saying, "I think everybody should be reminded of P before you go." Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
Nice. The governor has a little sense of humor there. That seems kind of innocuous.
I wondered how it got kicked out.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really that bad.
Yeah, computer, or was there somebody in DMV?
Well, I hear AI right there. I hear AI going on. By the way, a lot of you remember the Penn State quarterback legend Trace McSorley, who just began his coaching career a year ago at his alma mater. Well, he's leaving there. He's going to be taking a job, ready for this, on the staff of the new Buffalo Bills head coach, Joe Brady, according to reports including 247 Sports. McSorley, who's only 30 years old, was preparing to start his second season as Alliance assistant quarterbacks coach, his first under new program head Matt Campbell, when the team opens spring practice next month. However, he has now taken this job with Buffalo.
Interesting.
And he's going to be the quarterbacks coach up there, so kind of neat.
You know, the combine is going on now.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. They had a bunch of linemen yesterday. These are pass rushers.
Yeah.
And we're talking 300-pound guys.
Oh, yeah.
Defensive tackles running the 40 in under 5 seconds.
Do want to remind you, by the way, that this hour has been brought to you by Pappy's Q, which is open tonight 4 to 8. Tomorrow, 10 to 8, Sunday, 10 to 7, Monday, 4 to 8, off Tuesday and Wednesday, and then open Thursday, 4 to 8. But they're right there at 35 North Main Street in Jacobus, right behind the Rudders, that little shopette they have right there. 717-347-7062 if you want to take carry out. What do they have? Oh, just the best barbecue and seafood combinations you're going to find anywhere, like ribs and crab legs, or sliced brisket broiled, or fried crab cake broiled, or fried scallops served with 2 sides. That's a Pappy's platter. Or maybe the brisket and lobster tail. They've got it all for you waiting down there right now. Todd and Amy Howdy Show are welcoming. They have a beautiful little place. It's got a lot of ambiance. Pappy's Q. Check them out today, 35 North Main Street. Open 4 to 8 tonight and 10 to 8 tomorrow. Next up, we have Jim McClure on History here in York County. It is 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
To infinity and beyond.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to hour number 3 of the Gary Sutton Show here on a Friday morning. This hour will be brought to you by Regents Glen Country Club. You can find it at regentsglen.com or give them a call at 717-747-1919. Ask for Lacey Whalen, the general manager, who will show you around the best rates you're ever going to get. They're getting all excited about the season at Regents Glen. Bocce and pickleball and tennis and golf at the Arthur Hills Golf Course, which is immaculate, by the way. And just all kinds of activities. The Fairway Table, offering great food at their restaurant. They're redoing that right now and getting it all spruced up for the season. The pool, the workout center, the 19th hole, and all kinds of great doings out there. Find out about the different kinds of memberships you can get at Regents Glen Country Club. Also, our presenting sponsors bringing you this hour and every hour of the Gary Sutton Show. Einstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, 117 West Market Street, right here in York. They are our very special presenters in terms of sponsors, and they are ready to help you with legal representation when you need it in all kinds of areas like estate planning, estate administration, family law, all that kind of stuff. 117 East Market Street. Give them a call at 717-846-8811. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. And kindnessworldwide.org. Kevin Smith's outfit is spreading kindness around the world. It is the greatest superpower. Yeah, it really is. And so it's easy to spread. Do one kind act at a time. Make your place a little bit better and watch how the world improves. What will you do today to make it a kinder world tomorrow? Visit kindnessworldwide.org. And, of course, tune into our 833-478-4729 text line, our Back 9 text line, sponsored by Back 9, the best indoor golf facility you're going to find anywhere in New York right now. They have the latest technology, the TGL technology you see on ESPN. Yeah, that's all going on. And you can find them by going to theback9golf.com/York-PA. They're right out there at 259A Pauline Drive in the South York Plaza, right next to Giant and the Giant Food Store. And, theback9golf.com/York-PA is a place where golf never sleeps. It's open 24/7. Find out how you can become part of that, too. It's just a great place. Everybody's out there now playing golf. And you can check out our question today. What's your biggest fear of the Gary Sutton Show? We have it up on YouTube and Instagram, LinkedIn. Where else do we have it? Facebook. You can find us everywhere. Yeah. And check that out today as well. What's your biggest fear? Have you ever thought about that? Mark and I were talking about, we had a whole list we went over last hour. So I don't know if Jim McClure has any fears. But, of course, Jim McClure, the author of Never to Be Forgotten, a year-by-year history of the look of York County. You can find it down at Brown's Orchards and also right here at the corner of Pershing Avenue in Philadelphia at the York History Center. I don't think Jim McClure fears anything, but I'm not sure, Mark. Let's ask him and ourselves this morning. Jim, good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Very good, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Great. Do you have any fears at all? We asked that question about fears. I can't imagine you having any fears at all.
I really don't. Of course, that doesn't mean one couldn't wish that life would be better in some areas. I have a real concern about the national discourse, for example. Whether side you're on, I think they're both a little wacky,
right,
and over the top, overheated, and that's not a fear, but that's something I think
concern, at least, yeah,
a concern that's difficult in families. For families and for America. I do think that Aaron Anderson, who we've talked about with his new book, Unlikely Good, just tells us to, why don't we concentrate on the local level and see what we can do in the local level for civility and things like that, rather than throwing up our hands and saying, wow, what can one do about the national level?
No, I agree with you totally. That's kind of where I've gone. I think, we do the things at our level and carry out things the way that we can do it, to have a difference of opinion, but in a very respectful and a civilized way, passionate way maybe, but, where we don't think someone's a terrible person because they have a different opinion than our own, or vice versa. So that's some of the things we're trying to cultivate, and I share that concern. I think that's a really good one. But we wanted to talk today a little bit about manufacturing and a little bit about a York plan. And tell us a little bit about that this morning, because I know you've spent some time on that.
Well, that really does tie into the discussion we just had. We're on the brink of war in World War II, and the local folks the manufacturers could have said, just thrown up their hands and said, what can we do? We can't compete against these to get these defense contracts to make a contribution to the war effort because there's these big companies in Detroit and so on. So what can we do? And so they went to the local level and they said, let's work together. Let's share our list of machinery, our list of available manpower, and let's go after these defense contracts as a group. Instead of competing, let's collaborate. And the York Plan was born. And, it was a system of really where instead of a business trying to retrofit its entire shop to get some contract, there is a system of subcontracting where one contractor would ask another one, can you do these, make these items? And, and so that happened all over the place where there was a sharing of subcontracting throughout. And we were able to get these big contracts to make a sizable dent in the war effort. It put York on the map, York County on the map, that we were able to cooperate like this and produce so many armaments and so many goods that helped us win the war.
You look at York's role, and we hear about, World War II and the quick turnaround and changeovers that factories had to do to really create maybe the largest war machine of all time. York does have a place in that, don't they?
Yes, and a good example, we'll just take the example in a recent story I did about Esther Smith, who was a young woman in New York, and she went to the floor of the shops, and as many women did in those days, because many of the men were off at war. In one shop, she made parts for a bazooka, which is an anti-tank gun,
right?
To take down German tanks. In another shop, she worked on an aerial spray or aerial fog that would shroud naval operations. So it would create an artificial cloud. And so she worked on that. And her last job was she would rust-proof a part for Sherman tanks called gudgeons. And a new word for me, but that was part of the axle and suspension of Sherman tanks, which were designed, by the way, by Jacob Laux-Devers, our four-star general, earlier in the war. So, so there's one woman who worked on three different kind of obscure different types of parts, but when you add it together, look at the contribution she made to the war effort.
Talk about the York Plan. There was a York Plan, and I know you've described parts of it already a little bit, but tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Tory Laux from York Safe and Lock, he was, his company, not many people were buying safes in the Great Depression. So about 1938, he could see the war was brewing in Europe. So he set in motion what became the York Plan, the kind of the collaboration of other companies, the subcontracting of big, to get these big contracts. But he fell ill and he died in 1942. But meanwhile, W.S. Shipley came on the scene, and he was with York Manufacturing, York Corporation, today Johnson Controls, and he really kind of spearheaded and brought together the moment. But there was another player in this, the Manufacturers Association, which had been around since about 1906, and is really celebrating its 120th anniversary this year, by the way. And so they came and they helped W.S. Shipley, kind of run order through chaos. One of the things they did is the whole manufacturing environment here in York County, the workers, people wanted to make guns and ammunition and things like that, and we did. But what was needed was, among other things, was refrigeration, because if you're going to bring stuff across oceans, defense food and other types of defense equipment across two different oceans, we were fighting a two-front war against the Germany on the one side and Japan on the other, you had to have refrigeration and cooling to get that stuff across these oceans. And so our industries not only made armaments, but we made the stuff that helped win the war, the cooling equipment and so on. Very interesting effort that was a model across the United States.
No, it's amazing when you think about our role, and it's important this morning to have this segment because we did have a great manufacturing role then, and when you look at the manufacturing around York County now that has prospered out of that, it's kind of been a natural outgrowth, hasn't it?
Yes, we were strong going into the war. The Depression was a depressor, no doubt. But we had a lot of these red brick factories that we still have today. Many of them are being converted into housing units, which is a great reuse. But we had these major industries, but they were small compared to Ford Motor Company and General Electric and so on. So we had to really to go after these to really make a contribution. We had to work together. So it is Gary. It is a great example of really thinking locally in a way. We can't solve all the national problems of World War II, but we sure as heck can work with our neighbor company next door across town to make something that can then be made into something that can then be made into a major defense armament.
Well, it's an interesting story this morning. Really appreciate you bringing that up, Jim. Thank you so much. Where are you going to be in the next few days? I know you're always around speaking at different places.
Yeah, I should mention real quickly, Gary, that Esther Smith, after the war, she married Harold Smith, and Stephen Smith is their son, a well-known local historian. So Harold Smith had been fought in Europe. So here you have a merger, kind of a marriage of someone that really helped win the war on the shop floor, but also a fighting man who helped win the war in uniform. I'll be at Writers Roundtable on March 5th at York County History Center. We're going to have a trio of researchers tell about how they do their work. And then on March 7th, I'm going to be up at York Haven at the town hall there talking about the Declaration of Independence. That's a Saturday morning at 9:30. So hitting the trail here, Gary.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're staying busy, but always good to talk to you on a Friday. What are we talking about next week, Jim?
Yes, I think it's a good time to revisit the 250th America 250 activities that are taking place locally. There's, again, another national movement, America 250, the 250th of the Declaration of Independence. So how's it being celebrated locally? Well, that's what we can talk about.
That'll be great. We're looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Jim. Always appreciate you on a Friday morning.
Okay. Thank you, Gary.
Have a great weekend. Take care. Jim McClure, local historian here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. When we come back, we're going to try to get Alan Williams again from England, and we'll see how that goes. All here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
And it goes into BA, open for three out top. It's no good, and the Bulldogs have pitched a shutout in the first quarter.
Unbelievable.
Beatty out to Kohler. A three, it's good! And it is 15-2. Pass back to Lasher. Spartans went for a steal. Lasher drives in and scores. They went for the steal. He went for the score. Timeout, Milton Hershey. It's 29-7.
I'm speechless, and I haven't been speechless in 75 years.
Final 2 seconds, and the West York Bulldogs have won the district championship.
That was the West York Bulldogs boys last night, winning 66-42 on a very good Milton Hershey team. They dominated them. Milton Hershey 22-4, West York now 25-2. In the girls' matchup at 6A last night, Dallastown tried to repeat as district champions, came up just a little bit short against Wilson, lost 42-37. And that tonight, here on WOYK, we have got Central and Central Dauphin boys at 7 o'clock live from Governor Mifflin High School near Renning for the district championship. Central tried to repeat as district champions tonight. They are number 2 in the district to Central Dauphin number 1, and they will be up tonight, all here on WOYK. And, of course, tomorrow, York College going for a back-to-back championship at Hood College. And Darryl will bring all that action tomorrow from Hood College later on in the afternoon. And we're looking forward to bringing all that great basketball action everywhere you look here on WOYK all week long. Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 AM WOYK. So we're trying to hook up Alan Williams right now, and we're having a tough time with it, Mark. Just not able to get him, huh?
Well, I'm going to try one other thing. Let's see if this works.
Now, Alan Williams is a guy who's putting together what is known as the K20. And you know how they have like those 20s and 8s and all those kind of things. That's actually ringing now on the air.
Hi, Alan?
Yeah, and so you hear Mark with his mic on here.
Is this Alan? Oh, here we go. All right, let's give this a shot.
So we're putting Alan on the air right now. Alan Williams, live from the UK. Good morning, Alan. How are you? We just turned him off.
Oh, is he there?
Yeah, I think we have him there. Alan, do we have you there? We do not. So, again, we're trying all the things we can do right now. Do we have you there yet, Alan? One more time, we'll try again. Alan, are you there? So, trying to hook up with the UK, and not as easy as you might think. Do we have Alan now? Okay. Well, anyway, Alan is the guy who's putting together this K20. It's going to be at Florida Gulf Coast College later on in May. And also, he has a thing called Values Jam, which is a game that you play, which is kind of a fascinating thing. We went over it the other week with Ann Smith, and now one of my ears went out here. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on right now. But anyway, so this Values Jam is a playful card game that he came up with. And it's kind of interesting because it helps people connect with each other by stimulating values-led conversations. and it's called Values Jam. If you want to check it out, it's called values-jam.com. But I don't think we have Alan yet, do we, this morning? So, unfortunately, cannot get Alan here on this show. But you can check out values-jam.com, and we'll tell you more about the K20 a little bit more when Kevin joins us. And just punching this in right now to see if they have something up on that. They do not yet, but K20, something we'll talk about a little bit later on. So, should your first drink of the day be coffee or water? There's a new trend on TikTok that says you should start drinking water first thing in the morning before sipping on your first cup of coffee. But here's the truth of it. The claim is that drinking water as soon as you wake up promotes better hydration and cortisol regulation and helps you replenish the fluids you lost while sleeping. Plus, coffee has a mild diuretic effect, which can worsen dehydration first thing in the morning. So is there any merit to it? Well, a doctor and a registered dietitian both weighed in and said it doesn't really matter too much which one you drink first. So if you're worried about that and saying, I want to have a perfect day, drink your coffee first, have your water second, or drink your water first, have your coffee second, it really doesn't matter. And that's just a little story that we saw this morning. Mark?
We have other health news, as a matter of fact, a couple of stories. And here's one in particular.
This is House Call for Health. February is National Cancer Prevention Month. The American Association for Cancer Research says the government estimated around 2 million Americans were diagnosed with cancer in 2025. But 40% of those cases could be attributed to preventable causes like excess weight, smoking, and physical inactivity. The association says nationwide initiatives aimed at reductions in cancer morbidity and mortality have helped in the past. They also note that certain segments of the population have a disproportionately higher burden of preventable cancer risk factors, including ethnic minorities and other medically underserved people. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health, I'm Lisa Brady. Fox News.
And there's another interesting story about organ donation and the advancements that we've had in healthcare. Mm-hmm. And it's actually led to changes in that. Check this out.
More organs are being donated after the heart stops beating instead of only when a patient is declared brain dead. For instance, after a non-survivable injury when a family ends life support. What's known as donation after circulatory death, or DCD, accounting for nearly half of all deceased donors in the U.S. last year, 49% compared to just 2% in the year 2000. Technology is driving that, with ways to keep organs from deteriorating as the heart stops pumping blood. Though some methods have raised ethical concerns, with federal officials and organ groups working on new national policies. Specialists from NYU Langone Health also finding that DCD organ donation is more common in some parts of the country, and that better educating local hospitals and the public can play a role.
I wonder
Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I wonder why it's more prevalent. What's geography got to do with it?
Yeah, I don't know. But by the way, if you've ever been down in Seven Valleys here in the York County area, they have a bridge there. And it's a relatively low bridge. It's been hit over 80 times.
Oh, my.
It's been hit over 80 times. And Scott Burford, York County Commissioner, was talking about this the other day at a York Area Metropolitan Planning Organization meeting. And they're putting a new warning system in there. It's going to be installed later this year at this historic railroad bridge. Now, I can hear your mic's on there, Mike. And it's an effort to prevent large trucks from hitting the low clearance span. And it'll include yellow flashing lights, hanging panels to alert drivers of overweight vehicles to the hazard ahead. And I think some guy standing yelling, "Don't go there, you're too big, don't hit the bridge." No,
I would suggest a button.
The first two, yeah.
That cuts right across the road.
Yeah.
And then you can only push it until you repeat that it's a low bridge.
By the way, I did see on the Wall Street Journal this morning where mortgage rates fell or fall below 6% for the first time since 2022. The 30-year rate dips below an important psychological threshold and expected to boost home sales going into the critical spring season. So that's a good news thing right there. The average rate for 30-year fixed mortgages was 5.98% this week, the lowest in September of 2022, a slight decline from last week, Freddie Mac says. And then also the other thing, NVIDIA, this outfit that's making all these parts for AI, their blowout earnings report has disappointed Wall Street as stock sinks 5%. The company reported stellar quarterly results, but the numbers were not enough to assuage Wall Street amid an already fragile time for stocks. Investors are pointing to NVIDIA's stalling $100 billion deal with ChatGPT maker OpenAI as one pain point for the stock. The debate has shifted away from near-term results and toward the sustainability of AI capex spending, whatever that means, and concerns around the quantum monetization and potential cash flow degradation. So that's a little bit of a disappointing thing. NVIDIA driving the market right now, big time. And so those are some of the things out there this morning.
And coming up, Dr. Nick for a couple of minutes.
We're also going to be checking in with Dennis Owens next at 8:35 here on the Gary Sutton Show on what happened in the state this week. Dennis Owens from ABC 27 News, and then Dr. Nick to kind of close out the show, all straight ahead on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK, where it is a Friday morning. And who's that coming back?
Wang Chung.
Oh, that's right. Wang Chung tonight.
Wang Chung.
Yeah.
Their biggest hit.
Okay. Yeah.
They had one other one. Dance All Days.
Exciting. Yeah, anyway, welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK, where it's 8:34 here on a Friday morning. We check in with Dennis Owens, ABC 27 News. And he's also the host of a Sunday show that you should watch. And he'll tell you all about that. But good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Good morning to you. It's called This Week in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And it's on ABC 27 at 10 a.m.
And let's talk about This Week in Pennsylvania. And what all happened this week? I was interested the other day that the governor was asked about would he vote for Fetterman or Scott Fetterman or Senator Fetterman, and he kind of hedged on that. He's I don't know. I know a lot of Democrats are going after him, trying to get him out. He's agreed with President Trump on too many things, or the Republicans with too many things. So I was kind of taken back a little bit by that this week with the governor who used to have him as an attorney general. So go ahead.
Well, State of the Union, if you saw, one of the first people Donald Trump fist bumped with was a jacket and tie wearing John Fetterman as he came off the podium.
Yes.
Of course, I fortunately was watching so that the minute that speech ended, my head hit the pillow because it was an hour and
47 minutes.
Like
yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a speech that was. But there's a new poll out this week suggesting that 62% of Democrats do not approve of John Fetterman, while 70-some% of Republicans approve of John Fetterman. That's not good numbers for a Democratic senator who may or may not seek re-election and have to go through a primary, though I have to be honest with you, I'm not convinced he is running for re-election.
Yeah, I'm not either yet, and I'm not sure what else he would do, but he just speaks his mind. I mean, the guy just goes off and says, here's what I think. And it's been kind of refreshing. I think it's a nice model for some of our other senators and representatives to follow, but everyone's afraid to do that because we're always in the season of the next election, right?
We are. And you know what's interesting? So Stacey Gary, who is the treasurer, Republican, and running for governor against Josh Shapiro, and it's not official until the primaries, but the fact of the matter is the general election's here because neither Shapiro nor Garrity is facing an opponent in the primary, so that's who the race is going to be. She went down to the State of the Union with Glenn Thompson, our Congressman G.T. Thompson, and it's interesting. So Donald Trump for John Fetterman, he should be afraid, at least within his own party, of being too cozy with the president as far as approval numbers within his own party. But I also wonder, does a Stacey Garrity have to be concerned about being perceived as too cozy with Donald Trump? The Democrats, statewide Democrats, including Eugene DePasquale, your former state representative there in York County, who is now the head of the statewide party, they held a press conference before the State of the Union to say, look at this, Garrity's going down there. She's cheerleading all of those Trump policies that they call harmful for Pennsylvanians, they being the Democrats. So Stacey Garrity, she needs the excitement, and she needs the Trump voters to be excited about her. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But in November, she's also got to be concerned about the independent voters, and polls suggest independent voters are not thrilled with Donald Trump. So it's an interesting lane. How do you keep the momentum of the Trump voter but not scare away the anti-Trump independent?
No, it's a great point.
She's going to need all of that. She's going to need all that to beat Josh Shapiro.
And, of course, President Trump not running. And, we talked, I think, last week about what happens when he is running. He has fairly long coattails. When he's not running, the coattail's not near as long. And that's the dilemma I think you have as a candidate now. And again, we don't, the midterms normally are not a good time for the party that is the incumbent party. And, of course, the Republicans have a lot on their plate right now. So there's a whole lot of pie plates spinning right now, aren't there?
Oh, there sure are. And, in political terms, November's a lifetime away. The budget hearing started, by the way, this week at the state capitol. And from what I've seen thus far, the most contentious issue was Republicans went after the state police commissioner a little bit because George Bivens and the state police approved using public tax dollars and their budget to fund private renovations to Governor Shapiro's home in Montgomery County. following the attack on the residents in Harrisburg. And that is still an issue for a number of Republicans in the Appropriations Committee. And I don't think it's been answered as to exactly where's the legal justification for that. The fact of the matter is, Gary, there isn't. But the pushback is, well, these were certainly unique circumstances. We've never had a governor's almost, an attempted assassination on a governor in a residence like that.
Right.
And extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures is basically the argument there. But the bottom line is, there is a valid question without, and by the way, Josh Shapiro was asked about it yesterday, took great umbrage and in a very impassioned answer said the Republicans are stooping so low as to attack me and my family. Well, that's not really fair and accurate either. Look, there are legitimate questions, just a flat-out question like I'm asking right now on your radio show. Can you use tax dollars, public tax dollars, to upgrade the private home of a governor's residence? We've never done it before.
Right.
What's the justification? And I've even talked to you, and I've talked, maybe it's the new normal that we'll have going forward. That's a valid question. You're allowed to ask that question without wishing ill to the governor.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think it's a simple question of, have the times changed? Have we, and obviously we have some evidence of that now with someone trying to burn down part of the mansion. So times have changed in that regard. But to ask the question about, is that something we should be doing for a private residence? It's not necessarily. Everybody thinks now when you ask a question that it's always going to be political, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just what does our Constitution say about this, or what does our past practices say about this? Are the times they are a-changing? I mean, what goes on there?
Well, and the bottom line is, it's an election year. We're a battleground state. I think I saw, and I got to do better research. I should say, of the 435 congressional seats, that only about 18 are in play across the entire nation.
Yeah.
Well, I believe 4 of them are in Pennsylvania, which if there's only 18 nationwide and we got 4, that's pretty amazing. I got to do further research on it. I don't know that the numbers are that far off, but I do know we've got 4 that are in play.
Right.
And so we're a battleground state both congressionally. In the State House, it's a 1-seat Democratic majority. Governor Shapiro would like to increase that. The Republicans would like to take that chamber back. The Senate, in the state Senate, only has a 3-seat Republican majority. The governor would like, and Democrats would like to flip that to their side. So there's major political things going on in this state until Election Day in November. I know some of your listeners might be, here we go again.
Right.
But the fact is, it is a big battleground state, and we got some big stakes at play, including the governor's race. The reason I bring that up, everything is viewed to some degree through the political prism.
Oh, it really is.
Stacey Garrity's going down to the State of the Union, listen to the president. That would be an exciting thing for most state officials, right? Regardless of the party, regardless of the president. But instantly Democrats pounce, say, hey, she's too cozy with Trump. Same thing on the other side, although John Fetterman's not standing for re-election. But, I don't know if you saw Congressman Brendan Boyle put a tweet out this week, or X, or whatever we're calling it. We'll call it a social media post, in which he said, nice to see John Fetterman finally putting on a shirt and tie to go see his buddy Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, that's a Democratic congressman saying that about a Democratic senator, and there are some rumblings that Brendan Boyle himself is thinking about running for that Senate seat. So there's politics in everything, my friend.
Well,
that's why I'm on your radio show today.
Even on the Olympics, I'm reading an article here in Yahoo Sports by a guy named Chris Razvaglu. And it was about, and so I'm reading this article, and the headline is, fans disgusted with U.S. hockey star Jack Hughes after new photo emerges. So I'm saying, what the heck did I miss? So I'm reading this. Jack Hughes, of course, scored the game-winning goal last week for Team USA for the gold medal. Everybody knows that. So they say
and lost his teeth.
Well, and he says the outrage initially started on Sunday night when President Donald Trump called the United States men's hockey team to congratulate them on winning the gold medal at the 2026 Milan Games. For some reason, the president made an unnecessary remark about the U.S. women's hockey team. He said, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that, the president told the men's hockey team. I do believe I probably would be impeached. The president making kind of an offhanded joke. So anyway, the hockey team apparently goes to the White House, takes some pictures with the president's press secretary. And Hughes is called out for beating these pictures. And he says, why are people making things so political, going exactly to your point, after they won at the Olympics? And he said this, everything is so political. He told TMZ this, we're athletes. We're proud to represent the United States, and when you get the chance to go to the White House to meet the president, we're proud to be Americans, and that's so patriotic. No matter your views, we're super excited to go to the White House and be part of that. So I'm sitting there going, this guy just explained everything perfectly, and all of a sudden somebody's taking that and twisting it into an article here to make it political when these people didn't want any politics in it at all. It's amazing to watch this.
I got to tell you one thing, and you and I both, we love sports. I had tears, literally tears, when Johnny Gaudreau's kids went out on that ice.
Oh, my gosh.
And took Johnny Gaudreau's kids over to take a photo. I literally cried at that moment. For those that don't know, Johnny Gaudreau would have been in the Olympic team, was bicycling in New Jersey a year ago. He was there for his sister's wedding, and he was hit. I don't remember if it was a drunk driver or a reckless driver, whatever. He was hit and killed. And
he had his brother, right?
And he and his brother would have made the Olympic team. Didn't.
Right.
They hung his jersey in the locker room. They brought his kids out to take a picture.
Yep.
And it was just a great. And by the way, you can say otherwise. I'm telling you, there was some divine intervention in that game. The Canadians were actually the better team. They
no
had
question.
more chances. They were more aggressive, more shots.
34-18 to the shots, yeah.
And one of those two saves are just almost defy physics.
Right.
And it was just somebody was on our side, the American side. And that is the beauty of sports. There's no politics in that.
No.
It's the best person way, that's what America loved about that and that moment. Please don't bring political stuff into it.
Well, and here's what Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes' brother on the team, said. We're really happy for them. He's talking about the women's hockey team. He said there's a lot going around on social media right now surrounding our team and their team. But in the last couple of summers, we did a lot of trading with them. We got to know a lot of those girls really well. I mean, these guys went out of their way to make this a positive story. And it's like this writer went out of his way to somehow find the negative, even the most positive story, and somehow bring that out and twist it around. And I just find that to be offensive for anybody who's taking just plain good news, which we all need every now and then, and just let it sit as it was. Final thoughts on your part.
Plain good news, not now and then. We need it now more than ever, you could argue. And it was just a beautiful moment. Can't we just enjoy that? Let's not drag politics into everything.
Amen.
And, athletes are like all of us. They have different opinions on politics, and that's fine. That's America. And they're allowed to do what they want with that. It's free speech and all that. But that, I think, is what attracted the Olympics, is what attracted so many people as well to really enjoying it, is that it's not political. It's just celebrating sport.
And the other night, when they came down to the State of the Union, it was fun to watch them standing there and getting the adulation of the whole crowd. And it was really cool. Anyway, hey, a good week show this week at 10 a.m. on This Week in Pennsylvania on ABC 27. Hope you enjoy that. And we're looking forward to next week with you, my friend. Dennis Owens right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. When we come back, Dr. Nick Pandolidis comments on what he had on his mind this week. He always likes to look at one thing, and we love to end the show with an exclamation point, and that's him. Here on the Gary Sutton Show next on WOYK. Do want to remind you that coming up tomorrow, they have got a sale out at Thomasville Country Auction. That's right. A high-end Hallmark collectibles, gold jewelry, a semi-automatic gun, a costume jewelry, 6 pieces of gold jewelry. Yeah, it's all going to be out there. You can find out all the items that are going to be on the list by going to ThomasvilleCountryAuction.com right now. Hit auction date down on the left-hand side, and it will have every item that's on the list tomorrow, February the 28th, last day of February at 4 p.m. You know, Jack and Cheryl Hooks are holding sales all the time, both real estate sales and regular sales. They hold their sales Monday, Wednesday, and every other Saturday at Thomasville Country Auction like they are tomorrow. But if you're looking to have a sale right now, you need to call Jack and Cheryl Hooks today. 717-764-5403. Invite them out to your home to take a look at all the items and sit down with you and talk about, what it is that they can do to help make your sale or sales beneficial to you. They'll answer all your questions, and they'll even tell you how to haul the items to your house, to their auction house, and then do right by you. They've been doing that for over 40 years. They can do it now. And if you're selling your real estate, Cheryl could do that for you and save you lots of money. Jack and Cheryl Hooks are also looking for collections right now of all kinds. Do you have any of those or an estate sale or a real estate sale? Call Jack and Cheryl Hooks today at 717-764-5403 and tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. And don't forget the sale tomorrow, 4 p.m. It's at Thomasville Country Auction, Route 30 West at the railroad tracks in Thomasville. And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK, where it's 8:53 here on a Friday morning. We always end the show with Dr. Nick Pandolinas, who is our exclamation point at the end of a week. He's a former orthopedic surgeon, now retired, used to blog under the title of Dr. Wright, but always some interesting looks at what's going on. We always ask him to look at something he's been focused on this week. Good morning, Dr. Nick. How are you?
I'm doing great, Gary. How about you?
I am doing pretty well. Always looking forward to this moment of the whole week. So,
the closing moment.
Yeah. What did you focus on this week? What are the things that kind of jumped out at you?
Well, I want to talk about the Olympics again.
Okay.
And I think it was that men's hockey game and the women's hockey game were unbelievable.
Oh, fantastic!
Moments of great patriotic pride.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Well, I mean, he typically does. Trump called into the men's locker room and congratulated them, but in typical Trump fashion, he has a good intent, and instead of calling the women, whose game was just as exciting, and just as much worthy of pride and extolling, he just mucked that up. I mean, he's a flawed personality. I mean, he's smart, he's got lots of good intentions, and yet he sort of just negates them all by saying something inappropriate or not doing the appropriate thing.
When he told the men's hockey team, he said, "I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached." I mean, it's his effort at kind of, I guess, humor. I don't know. But it wasn't really necessary. And yet the men's hockey team then getting tattooed by some of these political types who want to find some way to put a cloud in every silver lining. And, they took pictures with Caroline Levitt at the White House, and they had pictures, obviously, of the State of the Union. And these guys were just out there saying, hey, we won. We're on display. Here we are. We came to the White House. We came to the State of the Union. Everybody gets a chance to cheer them. It's right after the game, 2 nights later. I find it difficult to put something political on everything, yet there are people in this country today who do that regularly. Add the politics to something that was just a nice moment. Let it alone.
Yeah. When the same thing at the State of the Union. I mean, Trump, had people there that were very much worthy of praise, but because Trump is pointing out these people, that the Democrats just sit there like statues, and I'm sure to some extent, when Biden was president, the Republicans did something similar. So that's the sad state of our politics. But nonetheless, again, the Olympics overall, I think, are sort of unifying. And there was that one commercial where I guess the Boston guy walks into a Yankees stadium, a Yankees bar, and it's a whole series of those people, series of situations where people who normally are yelling united around the Olympics, and I thought that was very.
It was very clever. It was played off, and I liked the idea of rivals can be friends. Boston, a Yankees fan, and then they had the other ones coming in there, and you had like Duke and North Carolina and all those different things, and that's what it gets back to. I was touched by what Jack Hughes said, and he said, everything is so political. He said, we're athletes. We're proud to represent the United States. And when you get the chance to go to the United States or to go to the White House to meet the president, we're proud to be Americans. And that's so patriotic. No matter your views, what they are, we're super excited to go to the White House and be part of that. What could be better said than that about an athlete's role? And so it doesn't matter who the personality is at the White House. People get all hung up on all this crap. It's going to the White House to see the president. I'm sorry. I had a chance to go to the White House when Bill Clinton was there, when it was the turnover on the millennial. And I was thrilled to be there and thrilled to be part of the White House cadre going around with the press that day. I was thrilled. I never once thought about who was the personality. Did I like them? Did I agree with them? Did I not agree with them? Or any of that kind of stuff. And I think this idea of every time we do this, something political has to be attached is really offensive. Final thoughts on your part this morning.
Yeah, I think that the reality is that we just don't have kind of shared values. We still don't believe, I don't think everyone has the same belief and thankfulness for the founding principles of our country. And I think there's just going to be ongoing political division and more of these things that you and I just talked about.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, Dr. Nick. Always good to have you on to get your little bit of a sane voice here at the end of a tough week. We always appreciate it, my friend. I'm looking forward to next week with you.
Me too, Gary. You guys have a wonderful weekend.
Have a great weekend. Take care. Dr. Nick Pantelides with us here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOIK. Brought to you this hour by Regis Glen Country Club. You can find it at regisglen.com. You want to talk about a great country club atmosphere at very low prices right now for all of their membership packages. You need to check out Regis Glen today. Give them a call at 717-747-1919. Ask for Lacey Whalen, the general manager, to give you a tour. And she'll tell you all about everything that's going on there. She is excited, and the whole season coming up is excited. Great golf course, bocce, pickleball, tennis, activities all the time. Great place to eat, wonderful pool, great workout center. It's all right there for you. And you can go to regisglen.com or 717-747-1919. Give them a call today for a tour and tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. Thanks for a great week, everyone. Don't forget we have basketball tonight. Central and Central Dauphin going up tonight at 7 o'clock. It's going to be a great game for a district championship and so much more all weekend long. Stay tuned to 98.9 WOYK. For Mark McKenzie, I'm Gary Sutton. Have a great weekend, everyone. It's 9 o'clock.